Not Quite Cool is a podcast that contains spoilers, opinions, and general nonsense. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you so much for tuning in to our once every decade episode of Not Quite Cool. My name is Keith Brooks, and here with me, as always, we have the wonderful Chad Dowdy. Chad, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing amazing, Keith. Amazing.
What is the Funko Pop on top of your shelf thing?
Back there, yeah.
Are you just talking about the little guy, the closest one?
No,
top,
the one
up top.
way back up top. It looks like Daredevil from here.
Oh, no, it's Crooked Man from Conjuring 2.
Okay, gotcha. That's good. That's solid. I like that. Do you like that Crooked Man or the Hellboy Crooked Man better?
That's the most recent Hellboy, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Chad. You almost sounding like our other co-host of the show.
I don't think it's streaming anywhere.
Robert Pralgo. Rob Pralgo also doesn't watch anything. Rob, you're here. Why and how are you?
Is this thing on? Can you guys hear me? I don't know. Can you hear me?
Great.
Yeah.
Last show.
Great.
Thanks, guys. Great to be here.
Yeah. But
aging by the second. Sorry.
yes, but
We can
speaking
tell.
of someone that's going to make you feel a lot older, we also have a special co-host here today, one that can't even legally rent a car, but has wonderful takes on films. We have Maggie Dowdy here with us today.
Woo!
Maggie, how are you doing?
So good. And I cannot rent a car, but I know more about movies than the three of you.
God
So-
damn. That's so
I don't know
It is
about
true.
that.
Here, I'll tell you right now, okay?
I don't
just
even
saw
know if
this.
my thing was an insult or just an observable fact.
Well, I took
She's
it
like,
as an
that's right. I know
insult.
much more.
I do. I'll tell you this right now. On my letterbox, I have logged 1,447 movies. So,
Let me
okay?
see. I'm going to
That's
see.
like 5,000.
Okay, but I watch snobby films, okay?
Oh,
then I
touche,
can be
touche.
like, oh, I've seen Tarkovsky. Oh, yes.
I have two. I've seen 3 of them.
Yeah.
Let me see how many. I don't
I've seen
think-
Tar. I don't know if I've seen Tarkovsky, though.
Seen Tar.
Yeah.
Tar
I've-
was-
but if you're unfamiliar with our show, that's totally fine. This is a great episode to ease you into it. Here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about some recent and not too recent films, mostly on the nerdy side of things. So your 1,900 Criterion Collection letterbox score does nothing for you here.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I think it's snooty. I'm in a Criterion Collection movie, so I think that counts for something.
Oh, are you really? Which one?
What's it technically a TV series, The Underground Railroad? So I'm in that one.
Okay.
Barry
Yeah,
Jenkins.
Barry Jenkins, yes.
I feel like that was filmed right here in Dawsonville. Am I correct, Keith, where I live?
Part of it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So there
Okay.
you
I didn't know we were gonna just tell people where we live, but cool, Dad sent them right to the house. Awesome.
432 Maple Street, Dawsonville, Georgia.
go. Great, awesome.
Unleashed.
So awesome. So what we're going to be doing is just talking about some of the nerdiest releases recently, and we're going to go ahead and start in a galaxy far, far away with The Skeleton Crew. Now, this Disney Plus series brought to us by John Watts, the creator of Spider-Man, Far From Home, Wolves, and the movie Clown, which I like a lot, stars Jude Law and a bunch of kids that I don't know, but I think an amazing series that brings together pastiches and flavors of Goonies, all of that stuff. Chad, what did you think about the series?
It's definitely some Goonies vibes for sure. Like,
Yeah.
even the kids are direct copies of some of the kids from Goonies as far as that goes. And I love Goonies. Goonies is one of my favorite movies. This again was like Goonies, but it wasn't anywhere near as good as Goonies. Like, I enjoyed it.
Well, that's
It was fine for the Star Wars world. It was a fine series. Literally, though, the thing that kind of saved the series for me was Jude Law. He
100%.
was excellent,
100%.
excellent in this. Star Wars is really good anyway at having these characters that are not black and white. They're gray. It's not. You're not the dark side. You're not the light side. You're a scoundrel. You're doing stuff for a buck, but really, you might do the right thing at the end. And Star Wars is really that world is perfect for that kind of stuff. And Jude Law is like that to a degree, and I think he plays it so well. I mean, obviously he's Jude Law, he's a star, but he was also the star of the show for me by far.
Maggie, what about you? Did you get a chance to watch Skeleton Crew?
I did not see Skeleton Crew because here's the thing, I was going to, and then Dad said it was like the Goonies, and I hate the Goonies. I'm so
I hate
sorry.
the Goonies too.
Hey! I hate the Goonies. That little if show me a picture of Sloth, I'm gonna vomit. I can't even look at that.
I'm not opposed to ugly people. I don't know. Maggie
He's
just
not real. He's not real. I can say that.
Maggie just doesn't like people who aren't aesthetically pleasing. So, but that's fine.
Right.
That's it.
Of course, like I said, I'm a snob.
Yeah.
Not into the Goonies.
I love the director of the Goonies. Richard Donner is one of my favorite directors in the world. The Omen. My God, what a classic movie. But I didn't see the Goonies growing up. And I feel most of the appeal of the Goonies is on nostalgia. But Rob, you actually grew up with pirates. That's how old you are. How does it feel to watch this space pirate show, Skeleton Crew?
Well, I'll tell you, Keith, it's quite a flashback, I tell you.
Yeah, again.
I liked the show like Chad did, but it was weird. It wasn't like I sort of liked it the whole way through. I either really loved moments of it or moments drove me fucking crazy. So it averaged out where it's talking about Jude Law, there's such a clear division of quality of acting with somebody who's as good as he is. And the two people who pop off the screen in these 8 episodes are him and Kelly MacDonald, his pocket, who's only in 2 episodes, but she's so good that it's a different world. And there were times I felt like the world that it's almost like watching Gone with the Wind. Go with me on this. Gone with the Wind was shot at a time where there were sort of two thoughts of acting were butting heads. There was sort of the representational was butting heads, was sort of the newer form. And I felt like I was watching people who were very grounded, and then somebody going, and I felt like I was watching De Niro have to talk to a cartoon at times, which drove me up the fucking wall.
I feel like that's how Dad feels about There Will Be Blood with Paul Dano, because you hate that guy.
I'm not a fan of Paul Dano at all. He's terrible.
Chad is.
You leave
has
Paul Dano
worst opinions.
The fact that he gets to do scenes with Daniel Day-Lewis and he's twins, so we're gonna do double the. It's ridiculous. Like, listen, no offense against Paul Dano, awesome. The person. He might be the nicest guy, and he gets work, obviously.
Because he's good.
He's a good actor.
Because he is. He is a good actor.
Not a fan of Paul.
Did we ever find out who the person that was supposed to be the other twin was?
It's never come out. I've never heard it.
Because the story, if you're unfamiliar audience members, they had another actor for the other brother, and they shot the scene where he's got him face down in the puddle, and the actor quit then and there. Yeah. And that was it. And they had to reshoot all the scenes.
I think the Paul Dano situation is kind of like a Rosemary's Baby situation, like Guy. So Paul Dano has made some sort of deal with the devil. So where like he's like a famous actor and he's getting all these roles, and you're in the Batman and you get to work with Daniel Day-Lewis.
But I also feel that Paul Dano,
Prisoners, you get to do everything.
I don't think Paul Dano is as well-known a figure as like Taylor Swift or something like that.
Yeah, but how well-known a figure is Guy from Rosemary's Baby, Keith?
In that world, he's doing pretty well for himself.
I think Paul Dano's doing pretty well for himself too.
I think if you made a deal with the devil, you wouldn't come out of it with a face like Vault Boy. And that's kind of what he looks like. No offense to Paul Dano.
That's what I mean. He didn't fix his face. He gets to work with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Because he's got skills. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Skeleton Crew is good. Here's the problem. A couple things I want to say. One, Rob Pronko was an acting teacher and couldn't tell you. He's like, it's representational versus that new stuff. You mean presentational? Representational versus presentational.
Write it down. I'm
the
old.
Entire crux of acting history.
So I literally begged. I went, this is going to be bad. So I can't think of the word presentational right now.
Yeah,
but that's what I was watching. We'd go from like a live action Sid and Marty Krofft show with the kids and the parents who were terrible to Jude Law and his pirates who were pretty good. It was just all over the place.
how pretty good? How dare you?
Jude
Urkel
Law
was
was
among
great.
those pirates.
Pirates were pretty good.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Steve
The best
Urkel.
thing about
Pirate.
the show was how it looked. The production value was great.
It was
They
great.
maximized the dollar. The fact that it cost a third of the Crapolite is astounding to me, which is one of the worst things ever put on television.
You
Thank you
sound
very
like
much.
Trump.
Worse
you
than
sound like
Obi-Wan?
Trump because you just make weird
Say,
names.
oh,
Acolyte
there's a
was worse
black
than
woman.
Obi-Wan.
Oh God, guys.
Yeah,
Oh no.
thank you.
Obi-Wan, the Acolyte was worse than Obi-Wan. Yeah, I could get
What
through.
the fuck
Wow.
are you talking about?
Wow.
Yeah, Acolyte was awful.
Oh my
Acolyte
god.
was there was no it was just jump. It was terrible. It was the acting was terrible. The writing was terrible. It looked awful. Your mental cases, the fact that you people, you're all you
First of
people.
all,
You know
you
you people. You people. What do you mean you people?
I feel like in Skeleton Crew, it to me this is a weird
fine.
comparison. This is a weird
it's-
comparison, but it's not as weird as Gone with the Wind. But it feels like a movie made in the 60s in the way that every time you're coming around the corner, there's a new celebrity just hidden doing a cameo. Like Alfred Molina's over here, Nick Frost is over here, Kelly McDonald's over there, almost akin to something like the 60s Batman movie where Sammy Davis Jr. just opened up a window for 2 seconds. You know what I mean? That sort of fun, but it's not taking you out of the moment, right?
On with the wind.
Yeah, with all of its celebrity cameos. Yeah, I think Sammy Davis Jr. would be a great cameo.
I did leave out Nick Frost. He is his performance as that character is phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think it's a whimsical, fun little adventure that gets to separate itself from all the other bullshit they're doing as far as Skywalkers and Palpatine and 5 years after.
It's not like the end of the world or end of the universe type stuff.
It's a little story, and that's awesome. Like, and I love the fact that the end credits have that little montage of that little viewfinder thing he was looking at, and you just see that they're a part of a bigger ongoing series of adventures. Like now they're a part of that canon, and that's awesome. That's cool to me. It's a kids show. You know what I mean?
Star Wars has got more problems than I do, and they got to do something over there.
I don't even.
They got to do something. They're a mess.
Yeah, definitely. Disney is really hurting right now.
Did I say Disney? Did I say Disney?
Who the fuck do you think owns
Well, did I
Star
say
Wars?
Disney? They're a whole separate LLC, so they don't stink up the rest of the joint. Star Wars has got big problems, dude.
He just wants Kathleen Kennedy gone. That's all it is.
She's
A
too
woman
old.
running this studio? No, thank you, sir.
Back to the kitchen.
Well,
Everyone pregnant. Make me a grilled cheese sandwich.
well, speaking of monstrous opinions, let's move on to the next thing that we're going to talk about. A frightening beginning to a new universe over there at our distinguished competition. And that is, of course, James Gunn's new animated series, Creature Commandos on HBO Max. Now, this 6, 7, 8 episode thing, I don't know, features some wild, colorful characters from DC Comics, including Frankenstein's monster, Adam, as voiced by David Harbour, Dr. Phosphorus, voiced by Alan Tudyk, Weasel and G.I. Robot, both voiced by
Sean Gunn.
Presentational. Oh, sorry, not presentation.
Yep, presentation. Good choice. We also have the Bride of Frankenstein. We have Nina. We have Clayface shows up. A lot of entertaining things. Chad, and Batman fucking shows up. Let's not ignore that. Chad, what did you think about Creature Commandos?
I loved Creature Commandos. I was not expecting to for a couple reasons. One, this is not a comic that I'm very familiar with. I'm familiar with the DC universe, but Creature Commandos, not so much. And it is, while it's a part of the new DCU, it's the first thing, which I just thought it was a weird choice that this is the very first thing that's introducing the DCU. So I wasn't like super duper looking forward to it, but I loved it. Some of these episodes I text you about the Weasel one in particular, completely heartbreaking. Not just that one, but the other ones are they're heartbreaking. They are so well done and so good. I mean, first of all, I should never doubt James Gunn. I mean, obviously, as far as that goes. But the one piece, ironically enough, the one thing that I didn't really enjoy too much about it was I didn't enjoy the music in this.
Oh, okay.
And, usually that's like one of his strong suits that I really enjoy, his, needle drops and things like that. But I just didn't like the music when they were fighting and stuff, that, Irish, like
Well,
again, I like it in general. Like Departed, I like it in that, but like I just didn't. It didn't feel like it went with this. Like
well, I don't
totally,
think it's Irish, but that's fine. I see where you're
whatever,
going with
whatever
yep,
it
that's
is,
fine, yeah.
But hands down, my favorite was David Harbour as
Yeah,
Frankenstein.
without
He
a
was
doubt.
so
Yeah.
freaking funny when like they were in that room and like Flag was like, "We gotta hide," and he doesn't hide, and he's like, "You're not hiding. He can see you," and he's like, "I don't give a shit." He's like, he is so funny. But again, a lot of people were funny on the show. But yeah, I dug it. It was awesome.
Absolutely. Maggie, did you get a chance to watch Creature Commandos?
No, aren't you so glad that I'm here for this
Absolutely.
podcast? She's so glad. Yeah,
That
did
was
not
me,
watch
dog.
it.
Yeah,
I
that-
like hadn't even heard of it until Dad was like, "Hey, here's what we're gonna be talking about in the podcast today." I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Which I think is like that's a negative sign, right? That only old white people are watching this bullshit.
Right.
But I do think if at any point you want to shit on either Rob or Chad's opinions, feel free.
Oh, I am fully prepared.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, great.
Yeah.
I think well, Rob, let me hear what you got first.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I wanted to say earlier when you guys were talking about Inside Out too, how as much as people are harping for stunt fighters, stunt performers to get an Academy Award, have a category. How is it possible that voiceover artists for films and television shows don't? Because again, you can really tell the difference between a really good VO performance and David Harbour. Unbelievable. And everybody else is, and nobody else in there is a slouch. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He is so fucking good in this. I just want to see his show.
Yeah.
The writing's tremendous. I don't know how much he's improv, but it is so grounded and so visceral. It's amazing. He's amazing. Yeah.
Well, and I also think it's interesting that he made such a departure from a lot of these comic book characters. It's almost equivalent to Guardians of the Galaxy, where he gets the feeling of Guardians of the Galaxy, the comic, but those characters are drastically different than they are in the comic books. And he's done the same thing here to a degree, but I don't mind. It's totally fine. And I do think that going with like the Gogo Bordello and Man sort of soundtrack is a weird choice because it's not very mainstream, where I think a lot of his stuff is quirky but can be mainstream. This is just pure quirk, but it also works pretty well to remind you constantly of the location. It feels like it's very rooted in where the setting of the story is. I think that the ending is lackluster. That it sort of leaves you a little bluish in the testicles, you know what I mean? But but at the same time, I think that's what a murder mystery sometimes does, and especially when it's a preventative murder mystery. But I love all the characters that we were introduced to. Cersei, fucking phenomenal. The lady who plays Yennefer in Witcher, who I'm absolutely in love with, voices that character. That's great. Yeah, I can't wait to see where else it goes. And plus, at the end of the last episode, we see who the next incarnation of Creature Commandos will be. You got the Living Mummy. You got Nosferatu, and then you got King Shark, which is fucking great right there. That's I'm here for it all
But
day.
King Shark is not being voiced by Stallone,
Alone.
to your knowledge.
Not in this, but I think if live action appearances, yes. I just think you can't pay Stallone enough to do a TV show. What with him being the ambassador of manly movies for the United States government or whatever the fuck that is.
Good Lord.
And how hot was the bride in this? She was hot.
Phenomenal.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about the
I
fact
gotta look up what she looks like.
how much banging there was in this show that I was not expecting? This is like, it's porn. No wonder young kids don't know about this.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have to
And
watch
Rob,
Spike.
I mean, I'm a
Spice,
fan too, but
whatever.
Rob, you're a huge fan of Frank Grillo, right? Like, am I wrong about that?
I like his work. Yeah, no, I think he's
Yeah.
great work. And I had the pleasure of being around that whack job for a couple of days. So he's an interesting character. And I mean that in the best, Frank, if you see this podcast. Yeah, I like his work. That being said, a lot of his Creature Commando stuff was toe to toe with Harbour, who is doing phenomenal work. And it's sort of, I don't know if Grillo's work held up to Harbour's work in that thing. It was Harbour really jumped off the page. It was pretty impressive.
I just think like the cool thing about this show is that it shows you sort of Gunn has no qualms about killing his darlings. that he's just going to try to tell you a compelling story.
It was pretty shocking,
regardless.
some of the stuff.
Yeah. And so I dug it. And so I can't wait to see the possibilities that opens up. But speaking of possibilities, this next show that we're going to talk about, we'll skip some spoilers because Rob and I are the only ones that watched it. But it begs to ask questions when we're talking about time, reality, all of these stones placed. I don't know the intro, but follow me to ponder the question: what if? Season
Jeffrey
3.
Wright.
Oh, thank you
Ray
very
Jeffrey
much.
Wright.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much. So the final season of What If, Rob and I watched this. Rob, you don't like good things. So this was good, meaning you didn't like it by transitive property.
Well, it's all relative.
No,
This wasn't as good. I used the word good. This wasn't as good as seasons 1 and 2 of What If. I think it started off with a complete wet fart, nothing with the Robotron Avenger thingies, which are awful. Bored the shit out of me. And then the 3 or 4 middle episodes were pretty good. And then it just nothing really flowed together. I like when things tie together with these shows. And then all of a sudden it was, here comes Peggy Carter again, and she's back in.
No, I can't stand Peggy Carter.
And I like Peggy Carter, but it's just.
He does like a tennis match. His eyes back and forth, like, what is he saying? What is she saying? What is he? I can't believe this is going on right now.
Not to get political,
Yeah,
but
it
this is
was-
the same way I
it
felt in the
was
inauguration
fine.
with people clapping for crazy shit being
To
said.
me, the best thing about What If is it's like a little Hanukkah. It's like a little Hanukkah Christmas gift every morning
Yeah.
leading up to the holidays. You wake up and you go, you get my cocoa and I watch an episode, and you hope you open it up and it's good.
I do
Sometimes
think
it
we should make a
sucks.
show called What Is. And
What
it's
Is?
just like,
What
well,
it do?
my phone's broken. And then it just cuts to something else, like
What
just
is?
saying things that are, you know what I mean?
What
I
be?
like- to me, this What If show is brilliant. And I like it when things sort of tie together. Literally, the back half of the show is all about tying together every episode of the show that's ever been. But whatever.
Really, what would you do without me, your target, where you get to spew venom at me when, like, you literally, I feel like somebody sold your soul to the devil. You have to be nice to everything. Like, everything gets its flowers.
I
Everything
feel
gets-
if the devil was
everything
involved
gets
in this
everything
arrangement,
gets its butt
I'm not the
caressed.
benefactor
Look
of
at you
the
just
arrangement.
kissing the tush of everything ever made and every actor ever created. Everything is the greatest good thing. You're going to explode with just Skittles. Everything is so good and rainbowy and nice.
I don't like Skittles, by the
Nothing-
way.
I don't like
Except
Skittles either.
outside of the
Terrible.
4 of us here, pick some movie that none of us have made and say something bad about it. So say something bad about something out there that you just didn't like. And it doesn't have to be personal. No one's going to take it personally. Just
There's
come on.
tons of stuff I don't like. I don't like
pull up your
Napoleon.
pants. Pull
I
on
don't
your
like
big boy
Napoleon
pants.
Dynamite at all. I hate that movie. I don't like the movie
very
Stealth,
good.
starring Jamie Foxx and
It's not a
Jessica
good movie.
Biel.
Plus, stealth.
Well, because I was on Letterboxd.
It ain't wrong. It's not a good movie. It's not
I was
wrong.
on Letterboxd and it popped up as a suggested thing, and I'm like, oh fuck this movie, and like it left a bad taste in my mouth. I hate that movie, The Burning, that we had to watch for that whatever show we do.
Rob, keep just saying that because it was like produced and like written by Harvey Weinstein.
And
Boy,
that's
he's done
a
out of limb
bad
on that.
reason.
Oh yeah, look at it.
It's a
There's
bad-
always a plan. There's always a back door to kiss the ass
know,
of some
God.
I'm not a big fan of Triumph of the Will. That makes me such a brave
It is.
person. I don't really like Birth of Nations.
I was gonna say.
Oh my
What?
god.
I like
Oh my
What If.
God.
I like What If a lot, except for like there's a conceit that they do in like the first 5 episodes that they sort of drop halfway through the season, where every episode starts with the idea of watching something. So everything we see, we're watching it through a television or an equivalent of that. And then it sort of drops that as it gets into the broader story that connects every fucking episode of every season of the show. But I thought it had some great stuff. And we get to see a bunch of original characters that they made for the show take sort of center stage as the show comes to a conclusion, and I really like that. That was a lot of fun. But
Yeah,
There were a couple
growing-
good episodes. Don't get me wrong, I'm not shitting on the whole season. It's just there was a couple good ones, couple of shitty ones, couple of good ones. It was,
We've
sort of
only
potluck.
seen the first episode so far. and I didn't like it. It's gonna be
Yeah, the
great because
kaiju.
I grew up with like loving the What If comics, so love the show overall. But I was like, listen, I can only handle so much Peggy Carter until I lose my mind. So super excited to see more of her. Can't wait.
Love her.
Yeah,
Love
that's
her.
weird. She can't stand Peggy Carter. Peggy
That's so
Carter's her
weird.
Paul Dano, I guess.
Yes.
I'd like
Yeah.
to see Peggy Carter more in live action. If they do a little more in the multiverse, I'd like to see that in live action. Whatever.
Like, I'm tired of Haley Atwell playing that character.
I love Haley Atwell.
I
Done.
love
Awesome.
Haley Atwell.
I'm
Haley
done.
Atwell's awesome. Oh my god.
Oh,
Her and everything.
It sounds to me like I need to hunt for better friends that have better opinions. But speaking of hunting for things, let's talk about the most ferocious of all hunters that has finally come to the big screen. That, of course, is Sony in association with Marvel Pictures presents Kraven the Hunter. I can't even do the Russian accent for him because he doesn't do the accent. Daddy Russell does the accent, and little brother Chameleon does the accent, but Kraven the Hunter himself does not do the accent. I saw this movie. Chad, you saw the movie? Maggie,
Right.
did you see the movie?
No, because I didn't want to.
Maggie, always an excuse. So me and Chad are going to talk about the greatest cinematic achievement since Citizen Kane.
I mean, I'd see it just for Aaron Taylor Johnson's abs. Straight up. I'd put it
Phenomenal.
on for that.
Phenomenal.
What I'm saying.
But I feel his abs are so good that it makes him a worse actor in this film.
It's like taking away his power.
Yeah, like his talent is gone from this. 'Cause I think Aaron Taylor Johnson's a great actor, not in this hunk of pile of shit. But yeah, Chad, what did you think?
What's worse, this or Madam Web?
Madam Web.
Madam Web.
I was about to say there can't. You have to say Madam Web.
Yeah, but the difference is
Yeah,
Madam Web. Madam Web is something you can make fun of.
There's stuff you can make fun of in this.
But I feel like Madam Web is more like a fun. If a group of people watch it together, they can make fun of a lot of it. Madam
Yeah.
Web.
There's a shot
Not necessarily with
this.
Kraven.
There's a shot in this where Calypso's talking, but then you realize they took a still photo of Calypso and animated her mouth and her eyes. And it's just why? Why would you do that? But go ahead, Chad.
The movie to me was like a typical 90s comic book
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
Like, really, that's what it was. Not great by any means. Not like the worst piece of shit I've ever seen, but it's not great. To me, it's just nothing about nothing. I really thought that Russell Crowe at first going in, I was like, they probably paid Russell Crowe to work for a day. But it seemed
He's
like he
in
was
a
there for a
lot.
good bit.
Yeah.
A lot of different scenes, a lot of different places. Like, he was in the movie a lot more than I expected.
And he's doing a lot of good work. Like, I think Russell Crowe is one of the better parts of the movie. Like, he has the action the entire time, does all this stuff. And I think Chameleon looks fucking great. When Chameleon becomes Chameleon, looks fucking phenomenal. I don't know what the fuck they did with Rhino. Look what they did to my boy. Like, now he's a backpack wearing Power Rangers villain, and it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Big head, weird body.
No, the Rhino did not work by any means. And
Kraven didn't work. Like,
I mean, not really, but I mean, not like the Rhino, but I know a lot about Marvel Comics, a lot, as you do as well, Keith. I don't even know this Foreigner character, like whatever he was called.
I actually like Foreigner. So Foreigner is like a very rarely used Spider-Man villain, right? As all of these characters are and should remain. But so his whole power is just hypnotizing people, right? And so I thought what they did with him was fine. He was at least interesting. He was something compelling to it. But even the way they took him out of, like, right before the scene happens, Calypso says, "Oh, by the way, I'm an archery champion from the Olympics." And then 2 seconds later, she has a bow and arrow and kills somebody. And it's like, you could have just paced that out a little bit better. You could have, like, had that at the beginning. So
That's another one of Maggie's favorite actors, like Haley
Me too.
Atwell.
Who?
Ariana DeBose, is that her name?
Oh, Ariana DeBose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love her.
I
You
feel
don't
like
like-
she won an Oscar and then was just in shit after. Like, has not done, but Angela Bassett did the thing, but she is just constantly in shit. But I saw a line, she said something in the movie like, my grandma died on that boat, and I never saw her again. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. She
Yeah.
is in what was the Disney movie Wish? I like her in Wish. I thought she was great in that.
Eh.
But this is, you can tell from the minute she walks on screen, like, oh, honey, you're too good for this. Don't be in this.
Yeah.
He's not going to treat you right. You know what I mean? Like that's what
Yeah.
the feeling is. And that's how I feel with everybody. Like I feel like Aaron Taylor Johnson is doing a lot of hard work, but then the edits aren't serving him well, and I don't think the direction's serving him well. And they're trying to constantly go back to what Chad said, that 90s sort of uh aesthetic of like an action hero gets hit and he's like, oh, I can't believe that just happened, or whatever. You like fucking quips and shit like that. And it just doesn't work for who Craven is as a person, nor does it work for the story that they're trying to tell. In addition to the fact the story they're trying to tell doesn't work. Oh, but I'm trying to please everybody.
You just said, I was just about to jump on you. You just said, I kind of like The Foreigner. Yeah, The Foreigner, because a little known character. Everybody I've heard talk about this movie has done nothing but shit on The Foreigner as if it's the worst thing ever. And I'm not saying nothing wrong. You've come to the protection of The Foreigner.
Chad,
it's okay.
did you like The Foreigner?
I just didn't know who he was. He was certainly more interesting and better than Rhino.
Yeah.
Rhino was
Whoa.
terrible.
Oh, it's better than the Rhino. I tell you.
Which, if I'm eating a meal and it's all defecation, all positive shit, I'm gonna look for the corn because at least that's gonna taste a little bit better, right?
The
Like,
worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's a
Cool.
terrible analogy.
Cool.
Jesus Christ, I'm sick to my stomach.
You don't have to seek out one. Just you don't have to throw them a morsel. They're terrible. The people at Sony are terrible people.
I agree.
They make terrible movies over there.
I agree.
And I tell you what, the worst thing about Sony, these Sony Marvel-esque movies is the layman fan, not like us, the layman who go about their business, have jobs, don't study and think about Marvel all day long and what's really Marvel and what's not. Sony puts out a shitty movie. It's so bad, it permeates the media, and people go, they hear Marvel movie, it sucks. And it ruins it for the real Marvel movies that are not as shitty as these Sony pieces of crap. And that's what the worst thing about it is. It hurts the box office of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is what it does.
No, I agree completely. I kind of think low key, I think that's why Marvel didn't release anything other than Deadpool and Wolverine last year. They're like, oh, they're going to do Madam Web, Venom 3, and Craven. Let's just take this year off. Let's let them do their thing, and we'll come back the next year when they're done with whatever this is they're doing. You know what I mean?
And they are done with whatever it is they're
Well,
not broke. Yeah. Exactly.
That's what they said. And then they came back and said, we're open to possibilities.
Well, they're still gonna, this is Sony as well. But the Spider-Verse films are good films, like really good films.
Yeah, stick to that, buddy.
It's not the same as this stupid Spider-Villain universe.
But I honestly don't think we're ever going to get that third part of that Spider-Verse trilogy.
Jesus Christ, it's supposed to be last year. I'm sick of waiting.
No, we're definitely getting it. You're ridiculous. That's a ridiculous statement to say.
I don't think we're getting it. I'm sorry. I think we're gonna.
What?
Yeah.
By
It'll
what
be like
grounds
2
do you think
years.
they're
I'm curious. Why don't you think that?
Well, because it got pushed back twice already, and then now its release date has completely been removed from any calendar, and they're saying it's indefinitely pushed back while they restructure that portion of their production.
And I do know that the actors haven't filmed anything. They haven't done voiceover work at all yet.
So, and plus also Shamik Moore, the guy who voices Spider-Man, kind of just became a pariah, and like got called out by a lot of people for
He got in trouble.
Inappropriate and creepy. Included in those is Haley Steinfeld, the lady who plays Gwen. So I think it's just, I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're sort of, and also Miller and Lord have like seemingly been pushed away from Sony to begin with. So
I think you're out of your mind. That's not.
I just gave you 97 reasons, and you're like, nope, I don't believe in dinosaurs, no matter what that skeleton is.
I think it should be easier to recast a voice actor though. Somebody could almost do an impression like that, of him.
Inside Out 2 would like to learn.
Yeah.
I 100%. I just don't know that. I feel that those two movies had such a cohesive feeling to them. I don't know that I don't know if the audience would be as supportive, since it's not. Inside Out 2 appeals to a broad audience, but the main target is young people, right? Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse movies sort of appeal to old nerds who, yeah, we don't like continuity at all. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
but
think
Sony has proven they're not smart enough to know what the fucking audience wants when it comes to
True.
superheroes. They just know the first two made money and they're gonna make this.
The first two worked. They're going to do the third. That is the hottest take you've ever had on this podcast. Unbelievable how terrible this take is.
I feel like I hurt your feelings. Do you want to talk? Like,
No, like deep
We're not
down,
even,
I'm
like,
like, oh my
angry
god,
and
is
over
he
the top. We're
right?
just
Am I not
baffled
going to
at
see
it.
the third part?
What is the story with the Nick Cage Spider-Man?
yeah, Spider-Man Noir. So he's
That
playing
is
the same
that live
character.
action? Is that
I
live
don't know.
action?
I don't think that's going to happen at all, guys.
That
I
was
just don't
already
think
happened.
so.
Like,
No, I mean, I know it's already happened, but I don't think it's ever going to see the light of day.
I think it will because that's
Let me
Amazon.
give you my 14-point presentation of why. Exhibit A, Nicolas Cage did not get paid enough money. He's going to be fighting this. And I've heard on the street that there's some very damning
I
evidence
feel
coming out
this is the
about
problem with
actor
the world.
number 8 on the call
Someone
sheet.
asked me to prove,
Something's going to be
hey,
terrible coming out about that guy.
why do you think this isn't happening? Give me facts. I give you facts, and you're like, okay, nerd. I don't want to hear like what? Like, the Nicolas Cage thing already shot. Homeboy from what's it called? New Girl. That's what I know him from. He's also in
Jake Johnson. Is Jake Johnson?
No,
Johnson?
he's also in Bloodshot. He plays. Oh my God, Winston.
Oh, he's great. He won
Lamar-
an Emmy last
Lamar
year for
Morris?
Yeah, that guy. He's in it. He's in the Spider-Man Noir show. He says he's seen like the first 2 episodes. He also said that while he was working on it, his experience with Nicolas Cage was a little bit different than mine, though mine was still lovely. But he said that he hadn't got because he's lower down on the call sheet. So he's like, I haven't got the 4th or 5th script yet. Do you know what happens in those? And Nicolas Cage is like, yeah, you walk in and you start saying, and then starts reciting the whole fucking script from memory. And then when he gets the script, it's verbatim what Nicolas Cage had said. And he's like, he memorized the whole fucking thing with punctuation. Like, and shit. Like,
Wow.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, but they released a couple of pictures of that. And then they released a story the other day saying that the villains are going to be monsters, grotesque monsters and stuff, all set in the 1930s and 40s, I want to say. But the issue was Sony had originally commissioned like 4 Amazon shows. One would be that, one would be Silk, and the other 2 were undisclosed. It seems like 3 of the 4 have gone away, and that Spider-Man Noir is the only one pushing forward. And so it just seems like they're canceling a lot of Spider things within a Spider-Verse.
I mean, I don't think the Spider-Verse is going to be canceled. I think it's going to be another 2 years minimum. I don't, because they said it was supposed to be like this year, maybe last year. I think it's going to be another 2-3 years before we see that movie.
They're just waiting for me to turn 60. That's what they want. Let's wait.
Chad.
But I do love how Keith was nodding like that was my point the whole time. Yes.
That's not what you were saying,
This
Keith.
is
At
not
all.
what you were saying.
At all. But yeah, Chad, just another 2 years minimum, guy. We'll get there. Don't worry, buddy. That's fine.
That's totally fine with that. That doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. No. Ooh. Well, speaking of things not bothering
You
at
in
all-
Venom.
Yeah. Ugh. Let's talk about really quickly before we get to our main event, which is talking about our 5 films of the year. Let me talk about a movie I saw, which is going to be the king of the box office, and I just can't wait to be king. Of course, we're talking about Mufasa, the Lion King, directed by Barry Jenkins, starring the Jon Stewart Green Lantern guy. Man, this was a lot of fun. I had a great time watching this. I cried in this one too, but that's also because I have dogs and cats, and anytime I see animals on screen that are being cute, I'm like, oh man, my cat would do that. You know what I mean?
Word.
Lin-Manuel Miranda writes the songs, and a lot of them have become like viral sensations. There's one about my brother. That one,
Say always want a brother.
yeah, exactly.
Got
That's
my brother.
It's so fucking catchy. And I don't think any of the songs will ever live up to Lion King status just because that is God touching the earth through the guise of Elton John. But still, a lot of fun. Timon and Pumbaa are better in this movie than any other Lion King incarnation ever. I stand by that. That's my hot take. Yeah, it's fine. It's a good movie.
The hot take is I don't like the Lion King. Any version.
I agree. I don't like the Lion King.
Really, the original cartoon? You don't like the original movie?
No, it's upsetting because the Lion King, the original cartoon, is my boyfriend's favorite Disney movie.
Because it's
And
a great
it makes
movie.
him so mad because I don't think it's good at all. Listen, I'm an English major, and I'm like, you're just copying Shakespeare, okay? Let's not.
Who
That's
isn't?
everything, though. That's
Yeah.
everything.
Who isn't? It's a good point. Okay, it's a fair point. I don't like that movie.
I also
I mean, it's based on
I don't
Shakespeare.
like it. Yes, Dad. Oh, you're joking. I was like, you're not that I mean, you're dumb, but you're not stupid.
That's like saying the cartoon Disney Robin Hood movie isn't good because it's copying Robin Hood. It's
Yeah.
so good.
It's so good. I love that Lion King is so aware they're copying William Shakespeare. They even made Lion King 1.5, which is Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead, the play, but
That's awesome.
featuring Timon and Pumbaa. And it's just like, it's just brilliant. It's just
And
brilliant.
then Lion King 2 is Romeo and Juliet.
With Nev Campbell, the great, who I have a giant poster of right here, and that character shows up in this one, and it's just so good. It's so good, man. It's so good. Anyway,
The
Neve
connective
Campbell is
tissue.
my wife's least favorite actor.
That's
What the
her
fuck?
Paul Dano.
what
Wait,
the
do you not
fuck
know
is the
that,
matter
Keith?
with your family
Wait, Keith, you didn't know that?
at all?
I didn't know
Oh
that. either.
gosh, my mom hates Nev Campbell with a burning passion. The
Wow.
two of them signed up to be like Scream extras because they're filming in Atlanta, and my mom was like, "If Nev Campbell's on set, I'm not going."
Is
Like, I don't think I
She
could
won't
do a scene
watch-
with her.
You won't watch any of Keith's movies that have been made because Nev Campbell is credited in every one of them.
every movie I've ever made. Nev Campbell has
So
a special
shocked
place.
that Dad, you didn't tell Keith that. No, my mom hates.
He
Nev
knew it
Campbell.
would break me. The same look that he had on his face when I said they're not going to make a Spider-Verse movie. That's what my heart is doing right now. Oh my God. Well, let's go ahead and I have to find out a way to get over this. So we got to talk about some positive things. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about our 5 best movies of the year 2024. Top 5 films of the year. And just before Rob asks, the year that we're picking specifically is 2024, the one that just passed. That's the year we're going to be doing.
I'm only 2 years off.
Yeah. So, but in order to do this, we have a wonderful guest celebrity here with us today. That's right. We have Maggie Dowdy. Maggie, how are you doing?
I am so good. It is an honor to have me here.
Yes, it absolutely
It's
is.
an honor to have you here.
Finally, we have somebody witty that I could spar with. This
Yeah.
is better. So we're just going to go through our top 5. They are ranked in order, Rob. Even before we did this time, he asked, like, "Oh, they're supposed to be in any like order or anything?" Like, yeah, numb nuts is the top
Yeah,
5.
that might
And
be
we're
the
gonna go
best,
5-1. We're gonna go.
That
like-
might be the best use of Keith's acting ability because before this started, when you guys weren't here, he said, "Are we putting these in order, or are we just kind of listing our top 5?" And I was like, "Who does that?"
Yeah, exactly. We literally have audio evidence of you doing that last year and the year before. We've done this multiple times, and you don't grasp it.
Maggie gets mad at me because she goes, "What's your top 5?" And I say number 1 first. And she goes, "Who starts out with the best?"
Yeah, no one.
Everything else
Nobody.
is just a disappointment after that. So we are going to go from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll get everybody's 5, then move on to everybody's 4 and all of that stuff. And we're going to start ladies first. Maggie, what is your number 5 for the year 2024?
Okay, I was between a couple for this, but I inevitably ended up going with A Different Man, which I just saw last week, 2 weeks ago. Because my boyfriend and I, we do a thing where we try to watch every movie that we think is going to get nominated for an Oscar. We're big
Yeah.
Oscar people. And we knew this was going to get something. So it was on Max. We checked it out. It's so good. I have really only seen Sebastian Stan do Marvel things, and to see him branch out was
Yeah.
so cool. It is a dark comedy, which I did not think it was when I started, so I was confused to begin with. But it was just so good, and it's funny, and it's so sad at the same time, but the ending, it just packs a punch, and I loved this movie. So that's why I put it at number 5. It was really, really good.
I can't wait. I love Sebastian Stan. I love the look of that film, everything about it. Haven't watched it yet. I highly recommend Fresh if you haven't seen that
I
one.
have seen Fresh.
I
I forgot about that. Yeah.
love him in that. All right, so Dowdy the Elder, what are you picking for 5?
I want to say, you guys be on the lookout because Maggie's probably just going to have all Oscar picks that none of us have seen.
Absolutely.
There's going to be no comic book movies, nothing fun from her.
Every
like-
time she talks, I'm like, I am an ignoramus.
Anything I feel.
Yeah, God.
Well, she's big in Oscar movies, so Rob, she's unfortunately seen nothing you've been in, but we'll go.
Okay.
I only do the big budget ones.
Yeah, you only do like Fast and the Furious 7, Endgame,
All
the big
Marvel
boys.
movies.
All the big
I
ones.
mean, I do brag. I'm like, yeah, my dad's friend got killed by the Rock. It was super cool that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But she
great.
means like you tripped over a rock one time in her
Yeah.
presence.
I got hit in the head with a rock by somebody who didn't like my work. It was nice. It's awesome. I have not seen A Better Man
I haven't
It's
either.
good.
I haven't
or
seen
Different Man. Different Man or
Different
Better
Man. Different Man. Better Man's a musical about Robbie Williams.
As
Yeah.
a monkey. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like 40, so I don't know who that is. But
Oh
that's-
God! Ow! That hit me so hard. The next sentence out of my mouth was going to be, "I really like Robbie Williams."
I know who
Maggie,
he is
Maggie.
because of that movie.
I'm not quite 60 and I didn't know who it was till the fucking movie.
There we go.
Millennium, the song from Goldeneye. Oh my God! You're all. I hate you all. Go ahead, Chad. Give me.
My number 5, this is big in my horror watch this year. My number 5 is I Saw the TV Glow.
Yes, that is, spoiler alert, going to be my number 5 as well. But go ahead. Let's get some of the information for you.
So, it's A24. I'm not a fan of A24, but I love this film. I texted Keith immediately to watch this, and Keith was like, there's no way, you like this film. I love it. I love this movie so much. And I mentioned when we talked about it on the horror podcast that it reminds me of my favorite Buffy episode, Normal Again.
Yeah.
There's some Buffy elements. There's some Are You Afraid of the Dark elements in this movie. But the lead actor is just incredible.
Yeah.
He does such a great job of really the levels that he's having to play. It's a trans allegory, but again, it's like a episode of Buffy, and I can't praise it enough. Like, I'm just as shocked as you are. A24 is on my list. I love it. I love this movie.
Yeah, and I'll dive in. Let me say real quick before I get to my thoughts on that. My honorable mentions are a bunch of comic book series, and that's the Penguin, Agatha All Along, What If season 3, which I really liked, and then of course, if a TV show could be my number 1, it would be X-Men 97 because that was the winner of the year for me. But I Saw the TV Glow as my number 5, and the day that we're recording this, one of the stars of the film has officially transitioned to a new name. Jack Haven is the name of the actor who played Maddie, the character in I Saw the TV Glow. But there's just something like the film, whereas Chad was reminded of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, again, this is aging us all and letting everyone know that we all know who Robbie Williams is.
And we all love him.
We all love him. But to me, it was Are You Afraid of the Dark? It was Erie, Indiana. It was like, that's how it felt. And I liked the movie upon the first watch, but I found myself just thinking about it more and more. And the aesthetic has just stuck with me ever since I saw it. And just how beautiful of a film it is, that slow pace that A24 does so well. It's just so scrumptious. I just love everything about it. Big fan. Rob, what kind of bullshit?
It's not on my list because I tried to emulate the pace of the movie by watching it at the same pace, and I'm about halfway through it right now. I'm doing what we call chatting it. I don't know if you know what chatting it is. When I first met Chad back in the day, he's such a busy life that he would start something, he would watch a movie and like the way you would eat like a whole cake, he would take small pieces.
Exactly.
Just watch it in small pieces. So I'm chatting. I Saw the TV Glow, and it's pretty interesting, pretty cool. I'm just not quite. I'm about halfway through. Maybe it'll be on my list for 2026.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's ambitious of you. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is a movie that's very polarizing. I wasn't even looking forward to watching it, and I think I set the bar so low that I was fascinated by it. I think it's just the scope of it and just the sheer, and just trying to figure out the movie making of it is Emilia Perez, and I don't know who dug it or who didn't dig it. I thought just The acting is spectacular. Selena Gomez blew me away, and I'm like, Selena Gomez is blowing me away. I'm just not that there's anything wrong. I love her on Murders in the Building, but everything about this movie just kept surprising me. It's a musical, but it's just done differently. It's the way it's structured, the way it's choreographed, the way things come out of nowhere. Zoe Saldana has been, I mean, obviously, I think one of our favorites for a long time, just because she's in things that we love. I mean, she is just a fascinating movie. Into spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but to watch the opening third of that, where the drug cartel leader transitions, and how the actress, I forget this right, Carla Sofia Gascon plays as a man, and then it's unbelievable. It blew me away. And the music was edgy, and it was almost not even like music. It wasn't like songs. It was almost like angry spoken word. And it was just, I was like, what the? I thought it was awesome. And I know it's Polaroid, but it looks really cool. I don't know, it's a great looking film.
I'm excited to watch it. I think the biggest polarizing thing about it is how you said it. Say the name of it again.
Emilia Perez. I've heard it so many different ways. Emilia Perez.
Okay. Because I think before you said
Emily
in Paris.
Yeah, I thought you said Emily in Paris.
Emily in Paris. The way they transition in Emily in Paris is fascinating.
It's not on my list.
Not a waitress who's a guy. She wants to be a woman, and I don't know. She falls in love. It's just big romantic comedy.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of it too. It just missed my top 5. Like, yeah, I'm a fan of it.
I haven't seen it, but I'm excited too. I love Zoe Saldana, and I think the subject matter is super interesting. I'm down for it, definitely. I like musicals, as we'll find out momentarily. But my Maggie, let's go to your number 4. What do you got?
Very quickly, I just want to say I did not like Emilia Perez. I watched it. It was like, I love musicals, and so I went into this very open-minded. I did not like it, but I think it's kind of what Prago was saying, where it's not songs, it's like angry spoken words, and I did not like that, because I want songs in my musicals.
Yeah.
And it felt like 2 different movies. Like, one half was something totally different, like things were coming out of nowhere in the second half that I didn't like. There was some weird like green screening stuff at times, and I did not think Selena Gomez did a good job.
Damn, just shitting on everything Rob said.
I do not like that movie.
Not
at
unexpected.
all.
Not unexpected.
The thing is, though, Rob is afraid to really talk bad about an actor since he's in the business, Maggie. So
heavy
okay.
quotes around that.
Okay, yeah,
Exactly.
all right.
And as far as talking about actors, I'm an a-hole compared to Keith. Keith is he walks. Everybody is the greatest thing.
That is not true at all. Rob Prago is terrible. Everything he's in.
I've never seen a good performance by him.
He gets all his anger out on me, and the rest of the world gets nothing but flowers and bouquets. It's lovely.
All right, so Maggie, what's your number 4?
So my number 4 is Nosferatu.
Ooh,
Yeah. So I'm a big Robert Eggers fan.
Me too.
Huge fan. I love The Witch. It's one of my favorite horror movies.
Same here.
And I was very, very excited for this for a long time. And I got to see this in theaters. And it's so pretty to look at.
Yeah.
It is just objectively gorgeous. It's like gothic. It's so dark. And I think the actors do a great job. I was not expecting Lily Rose Depp to do a good job in this. But she did very, very well.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård, unrecognizable. It was just so good. And that final shot is just stunning.
Yeah.
And I loved the whole aesthetic of the movie, and it was great. I loved it. It lived up to the hype for me.
Absolutely. Finally, some people with some good fucking opinions on this show. Chad, what about you? What's your number 4?
I want to talk about Nosferatu for a second. It is not my number 4. It's not in my top 5.
It's in my top 5, but
yeah.
not yet. Yeah.
I am not. It's fine. Everybody can calm down about Nosferatu. Okay. It's the Dracula story we've seen 100 times.
It's
very beautiful. Absolutely. It's a beautiful looking film. I will say it's a beautiful looking film. That's what I will say about it. The difference to me between the Dracula story or Dracula and Nosferatu really is just the look. Nosferatu has a look. You will see other movies where you see a vampire and you're like, oh, that's a Nosferatu vampire. And this guy did not look like Nosferatu.
Half of his head totally looked like Nosferatu,
Okay,
while the other half did.
Okay, yeah, mustache. Let's just throw a mustache on this guy. Are you kidding me? That's
What is-
ridiculous.
tell
That
me,
was like
what
the
is-
Tom Selleck of Nosferatu.
Yeah,
exactly.
Tell me, what is creepier than a white guy with a mustache? So I don't think, that
Was
wins.
Nosferatu doing porn in this movie? What was
Yeah.
Nosferatu doing?
Yeah, there was some of that.
Porn
for sure.
Ferratu. Yeah, there actually was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got that good Nosferatu dick up in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which apparently Nicholas Holt got as a present upon wrapping. Robert Eggers gave him the prosthetic penis of Bill Skarsgård.
That's pretty
Amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to point out that this is apparently the way the podcast goes. If you ask a Dowdy what their favorite film is, they're like, "I'll tell you, but let me shit on somebody else's choices first." So,
I want to chat. I want to write a short film that we can do. I'm tired of Nosferatu being the bad guy. I want to do Nice Ferratu. Can we do that?
Okay.
that's good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Do Nice Ferratu, where he's just, I don't mean to scare you. Come on in.
yeah, yeah.
I have seen some like memes of Nosferatu with a thumbs up saying yes,
Yes,
Ferratu.
Ferratu. My
Yeah.
favorite. There's one with
I was thinking like Nose Ferratu.
Yeah, there's one with Lily Depp, and she has a rat pulling her hair, and it's Nosferatu, and I like that one a lot.
That's awesome.
Okay, that's not bad.
Uh,
The
so
movie's fine.
it's brilliant. We'll talk about it in a couple rounds. What is your number 4?
My number 4 is Dune Part 2.
Whatever the score is. Yeah.
So Dune Part 1, to me, nothing happened. So by comparison, everything happened in Dune Part 2. I loved it.
The
Like-
weird push and pull of you is you'll say something I like so much, and then you'll follow it up with utter nonsense. Like,
Nothing happened in Dune Part 1. When it was over, I was like, what did we just see? I don't even care what happens next. Where this one, everything happened. It was so good. And at the end, I want to what's happening next. I definitely want to see, part 3 or whatever it's going to be called. Like that, I am super interested in that. Even though it finished the story to a large degree, I just love where they left Chalamet at the end of this film, thinking about where it's going, and with Florence Pugh and Zendaya, like love it. I love where they left this film. I loved Javier Bardem in this movie. It was just, he was funny, but it worked for me. And also a beautiful film as well. Very beautiful.
absolutely, a stunning film. Some of those attacks are so gorgeous, but I also love the fact that we recently lost the late great David Lynch, and his film, which is not my favorite, but it is a classic film and sort of encapsulates the first part of that story. And for a lot of people, that's where the story existed in the zeitgeist. This gets us a little bit past that, and we start to see the turn of who this character will become. And to me, that's so intriguing, and I think Villeneuve did such an amazing job at it. And I think it's a testament to Chalamet's acting capabilities that he's able to pull it off in a realistic but also subtle way. I think this is one of the best things you've ever decided, Chad, was to put this on your list.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm not opposite of Chad completely, but because I thought Dune 2 was fantastic, but I actually like Dune 1 better. I loved the introduction of these characters and the way they were built and the darkness of it, and there was an angst and a dread and a bleakness about it that I was like, holy shit. I needed a breath when the movie was over.
Yeah.
And I was ready for the next one. That being said, I loved Dune 2, but actually Dune 2 was a little bit of a tougher watch for me for some reason. I didn't fly through it. It was 2 sittings, but maybe I saw Dune 1 in the theaters. I saw Dune 2 when it came to Max. I saw Dune 2 in the theater. I'm sorry, I saw it in the theater. It was just Dune 1. I just found I get 2 different tones, sort of.
Yeah.
But both, I mean, Denis Villeneuve come on, he's the best working director. The shit he handles is astounding. He's astounding, so anyway,
He's good.
That's on my list coming up.
Yeah. For me, my number 4 is look, I have theater degrees. I can't help but say this. It's Wicked. Like Wicked Part 1, just because it was so much fucking fun in the theater. It was such an amazing time, such a celebration of color and bright lights and spectacle. And the songs are brilliant. It's brilliant music. The story is clearly brilliant. It's existed for fucking 100 years at this point. This new adaptation, obviously makes some twists and turns to it. But I think to the same degree that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds have undeniable chemistry together, the same thing can be said for Elphaba and Glinda, that they are a dynamite pairing and you just cannot take your eyes off of them when they're on the screen together. It is electrifying and makes you smile until it breaks your heart. I have no shame in admitting that I'm a 40-year-old man who loves Robbie Williams. I'm technically only 39, but I cried like a little bitch in the little dance scene where you realizing how her feelings are hurt and she's trying to keep it together. Oh my God. And the fact that he got me to cry off of such eccentric, weird moments, that's a testament to the filmmaking capabilities. The other part of me that really enjoys it is I know what happens in the second half. And I don't think a lot of moviegoers do. So they're falling in love with some characters. And I'm just like, oh, that presidential term's not going to be what you think it's going to be. Like, that's how I feel like after watching it. You know what I mean? And so I'm just so excited to see where the second part goes. I loved it all. I loved even the minor casting. I thought was awesome. I had a blast with it. Rob, what is your number?
I was just going to say, I mean, as good as Wicked was, I just don't think the songs in Wicked stick with you like the songs from Amelia Perez.
Don't even.
I couldn't even finish the statement with a straight face. I don't remember one word from one song. Amelia Perez. I just remember watching them do it. I was like, oh, so angry, very angry. No. The only one line I remember is "You smell like Papa," which kind of creeped me out actually.
Yeah,
when the little kid is singing. I'm a fan of the Alien. I'm a fan of a couple of the Alien movies. Which one is this?
Number
Third.
4.
I'm sorry, I have my numbers out of order. My number 3.
I thought you guys were professionals.
Not even
come
close.
in and I
No.
expect
No,
okay.
No. You know what? I'm gonna switch it. My 4th is Alien Romulus. I'll just flip my 3rd and my 4th right now. Again, my bar's been set a little low. I mean, I've been fine. The first 2 Aliens were tremendous. I really liked Fincher's 3rd. I'm one of the people. I mean, I really love getting the darkness and the bleakness, and there's something about that. I love what Fincher did with that movie. And then, like from 4 till now, it's been like, meh. I watched them all. It's fine. Alien vs Predator. Blah 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 blah.
Let's not insult Alien vs Predator because that first one's genius. But go ahead.
Predator. But this sort of had a feel. I don't want to say this reaches the heights of 1 and 2, but it's certainly, it had a look and a feel from that world that was very. Kaylee Spaney is just
Incredible.
awesome. And as great as he is, not as good as what's his name? David Johnson.
Yeah, the android was awesome.
He was the best part of the movie.
Absolutely.
Future Academy Award winner David Johnson, whose turn was almost every bit as good as Edward Norton's in Primal Fear. I mean, it was just the difference in their 2 characters.
Yeah,
are amazing. And I was like, holy shit, and it was good before he got the upgrade. I mean, it just looked good. The pacing was great. It was creepy. The production design was awesome. It was good. I'm looking forward to another one.
To me, the movie is kind of meh. Don't get me wrong, I own it on Blu-ray. But it's because of that fucking android performance.
Yeah,
it's so stunning. I feel that the rest of it feels like an okay video game. But that's me. And look, I'm being a dowdy. I'm just trying to get in the family membership.
I'm telling you, right?
You know what he says.
Right.
I just want to say too, I've only seen 1, 2, 3. I think I've seen 8 movies the whole year. So
that's great. That's
great assault, my top 5.
Even though your friend Keith was in like 9 movies that came out this year, but that's fine. It doesn't matter.
I saw one movie Keith was in last year.
Yeah,
was that last year? Was that the vampire movie last year?
No, that was the year before. Thanks for keeping up with my career. I really appreciate that. Now moving on to number 3, unless there are other choices that people made that you want to shit on. Maggie, what do you got?
Listen, I liked Alien. Okay, we'll go there. But listen, what I hate to flex. I saw 56 movies this year.
Damn,
flex right there.
I got a list.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can say that I'm like a movie snob all day. I can
Nope.
sit here and be like, Robert Eggers, yes, Andrei Tarkovsky. But I am my father's daughter, okay? I was raised right. I was raised correctly. So my number 3 is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I had a blast. Like I said, I was raised right. I grew up on those movies, on the MCU and the Fox movies. I was made to watch those. And seeing all of it come together was just so good. Listen, I don't care if it's nostalgia bait. I don't care if it's cheesy and corny. I loved it. I had a great time. Seeing Blade on the big screen was incredible. Seeing Channing Tatum as Gambit was incredible.
Woo-wee. About to make a
I
name for
thought-
myself over here.
That's that's right. That's right. And it was so good. I saw it in the theaters, had a great time watching that with other people and hearing the gasps when people would show up and when moments would happen was just so good. And I loved this movie and I think it was a great farewell to the Fox Marvel universe.
Yep.
I love you. Listen, you can't get better than Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. That is the best casting that has ever happened. It's so good, and I love that movie so much.
This scene in the car is so good when he
Mhm.
goes off on Reynolds that it's people have won Academy Awards for lesser performances in movies.
Right.
And that
Just
was
the look on his face when he's like, "Yeah, you could go ahead and hit me," and then he hits him, and that look of anger in Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman's face is incredible. Like, I don't think that's going to be the only time that movie is mentioned in this round robin.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I will say that one of the things that makes me like the movie even more is it's kind of controversial, but all this stuff that's come out about Blake Lively's It Ends With Us co-star and the idea that Ryan Reynolds was using Nice Pool to make fun of that guy
Yes.
makes me like the movie even more for some reason. Like,
Yes, it kind of does. I told
Yeah.
my dad about that, and he was very confused by some of it's like he's got a man bun, therefore that is him.
Yeah.
Great.
But he's
Love
also
it.
like talking about like, yeah, I do a feminist podcast, that
Yeah.
which is what the guy does, and I love it. I love it so much. I'm all here for it. Petty revenge is my
It
life.
is funny.
I'm on side Reynolds, so I'm using him as my reason for a nice Ferratu.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thanks.
Chad, what do you got for your number 3?
Before I talk about number 3, I'm going to shit on Wicked real fast.
Oh my fucking god!
I'm gonna take a wicked shit right here.
I take a
Wicked
wicked piss
shit.
Oh,
no, I haven't seen Wicked, so I can't shit on it. But
That's enough shit right there.
Yeah.
Just not seeing it. Everyone should see this movie.
right.
So my number 3 is a little odd because it is, I think it might be a Netflix original movie. I'm not 100% sure, but it's just on Netflix, and it's What's Inside. Has
I've heard
anyone
of it,
heard?
Which
of this
I
movie?
heard a lot of things
Yeah,
about this
heard good
movie,
things.
but I haven't seen it yet.
I love this movie. It is so good. This is the gist of it: is basically these people that were friends in college reunite, maybe like 10 years later, because one of them's getting married, and it's the night before the wedding, and so they're all getting together, and one of their buddies shows up, and it's like, "Hey, we're going to play a game," and the game is a device that he has brought that, again, you got to go with the movie, but you switch consciousness. I can't say the word consciousness
Nope.
with other people.
Try again.
You just say it, man. What's the word?
Consciousness.
Consciousness.
Emilia
You switch it.
Perez.
Yeah, exactly. You switch it with other people, and then it's like mafia or werewolves, where you're trying to find out who is really
That's
in each
brilliant.
other's body.
That's brilliant.
And just the shit that happens after that is so good, so incredible. And they do such a good job of you not getting confused about, because again, this person that you've just met in the movie is now in someone else's body, and you know it's that other person. It is so well done. It came out of nowhere. It doesn't have a horror tag on it, but it's horror. Like, it really is. Like, I don't understand why it's not horror. It's like sci-fi, thriller, that kind of thing. But it is so good, so well done, and it really keeps you guessing till the end. Like, it's really good.
That's awesome. I love that. I think it's a brilliant concept. Not a new concept necessarily. I just watched an episode of the Super Mario Super Show because I'm near 40. And the one with Lou Albino, and it was Captain Lou Albino, Luigi, and a Cher impersonator did a similar thing where they're switching bodies and consciousnesses, and you have to figure out who is who, and it's pretty fun. But I heard some things about this Netflix movie, and here's the deal: a lot of people shit on made for TV Netflix movies. Some of these fucking movies are great. And what a great place for them to have an avenue to be seen by millions and millions of people. All that stuff.
Real fast, Keith. Rob, how do you pronounce Captain Lou, Rob?
Oh, let me tell you, we're not done with Captain Lou yet. Captain Lou Albano.
Albano. Yeah, because he said albino. Like,
That's what I say.
Yeah, because it's Albano.
Is it Albano?
Yeah.
Oh my god, really? I've been confusing this motherfucker with powder.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because years ago, Keith did a weird move, and I was like, and it hit me. And it's like, you could do a great. He could do Captain Lou Albano in the biography of Captain Lou. He can play him. Just the way you move in your head. It'd be great. You would be a great. Put a little safety pin in the balloon.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Well, here's the thing. When I was in undergrad, I was doing a show, and all of the cast got me a Captain Lou Albano toy that's still in my basement right now because they said I reminded them of him, and I still couldn't fucking say the name right, and I can't do an impression of him to save my life. I could do the Luigi voice from it, but I can't do the swing your hips from side to side. I can't do it anyway, whatever.
Would I be showing my age if I said I had no clue who the fuck you guys were talking about?
Nobody has any idea.
No, Captain Lou Albano is?
No, I'm 20.
We started wrestling at WrestleMania 3. That's when I started her.
Oh, he's a wrestler. Okay.
He's a manager.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
He was also good friends with Cyndi Lauper and was in a couple of her music videos.
And she
also just missed the cut
in the Mario show. So Cyndi Lauper shows up in like 4 episodes.
I do know who Cyndi Lauper is, at least. Okay.
Do you know who Super Mario is? Because that's the important.
Yeah. He is brothers with Waluigi.
Oh, you just hurt me so much. But speaking of another icon that everyone should know, my number 3 is Nosferatu. I love Robert Eggers with all my heart. The Witch is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think every movie he does is near perfect. I think The Northman is my least favorite. And this follows that in some of the ideas of being more commercially viable, I think. This tries to be more mass appeal, but I think he manages to marry his own sense of the macabre and artistry with that commercially viableness in this movie. And I agree completely that Skarsgård is giving a performance that is unlike anything I've ever seen. He instantly makes himself one of the greatest horror characters of all time in this.
With a mustache.
With a mustache. And it's hard to be one of the greatest with a mustache. I think Lily Depp was phenomenal. She was so fucking good in this movie. Nicholas Hoult, I think, is perfect in every film he's in, and he was great in this. Willem Dafoe was great in this movie. Lily Depp was naked. That caught me off guard.
That was surprising.
That was really surprising.
You
right?
guys did not check out The Idol if you thought that was surprising.
I did.
I don't know that anybody did. That's why it was canceled immediately.
That's true. I didn't watch it either.
But I will say, like, the original Nosferatu is one of my favorite movies of all time. The quote of "and the sick will no longer die, and the children will no longer suffer," all that stuff from the original one of the end credit cards is like one of my favorite lines ever written. So part of me is heartbroken that they didn't put that in there to some degree or some capacity. But I do love the manipulations they did of the story, the making Nosferatu be he's causing these plagues through revenge. And all of that is an interesting, petty spin to put on this character. The fact that he is a jacked version of Caliban from the X-Men is kind of fucking dope. Like, that's cool. I like all of the imagery, the darkness of it all, that it's just making people listen to like Depeche Mode now. That's awesome to me. I'm a big fan of it.
So the thing about Robert Eggers is
he's great.
He makes great movies. Like, as far as beautiful looking movies. I'm not a fan of his movies, but he's clearly a great filmmaker. And so I just don't like what he does. But Keith, do you know what his next movie is? It's just been announced.
No,
it's a werewolf movie.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love this.
So even better, werewolf movie, which I don't like werewolf movies. Robert Eggers and I think it's going to be, it's a period piece, obviously, but where they speak in Old English. So all of these things together, no, thank you.
I wonder. There's an old Germanic, Old English werewolf count. It's really popular called the Peter Strauss story, where it's a guy who would change into a werewolf by putting a belt on. And I would to see Robert Eggers do that would be fucking incredible. God, I mean, I know how much you're excited about the Wolfman Chad coming out this year. I know that's really
We've already
got
seen
your
it. Maggie and I have already seen it.
Have you? How was it?
It was okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's fine.
love Lee Winnell.
Me too.
I'll watch
Me too.
anything he does.
Yeah, same here.
I heard it was a bit underwhelming. I heard it was a bit-
Yeah.
I like Lee Winnell as well, but I feel like this one, unlike Invisible Man, I didn't feel this way in Invisible Man. I feel like this one, I could feel the budget as not being a lot in this
Mhm.
movie. I mean, it was low budget. I mean, for the most part, it's one location. And Maggie agrees with me on this. You know, we're not like the biggest fan of the creature design as well.
Yeah, I don't like what I've seen of the design. He just looks like an old shaggy man. And I don't
I said he looks like an old British person. is what
Yeah, I
said.
can see that. I can see that. But really, what are British people if not werewolves? So
What are British people if they have proper teeth? For real.
yeah,
So
Mhm.
yeah.
Lord.
Governor.
Is it
All
worse
right.
than the wolf? Is it worse than the wolf head of Brutus on Skeleton Crew?
The fuck is your problem? What the fuck is your problem?
You want a piece of me?
Give me your number 3 movie of the year.
Which was his number 4 for those listening.
Yes,
at home.
it moved up because I misnumbered it, but it earned it anyway. To watch Ray Fiennes work with Stanley Tucci and John Lithgow is a pleasure for this actor. Edward Berger is a good storyteller. I think it was great. I thought it was good, but I only saw 8 movies this year, so it's in my top 5. So it's really good.
Oh my god.
I can watch them work all day long. It was fascinating to be in there watching them vote for a new pope. All the supporting popes that they cast, not the popes, the cardinals. It was excellent. It was just well done. It flew by. It was one of those I wanted the movie to be another hour longer. That's how much I enjoyed that. So see Conclave, which I think in Spanish means with clave. Am I wrong, Keith?
God damn it. All right. Maggie, what is your number 2?
Before I say, of course, I have to shit on Conclave for a second.
Yeah,
I
feel free.
can't. Right, of course. It was okay.
Yeah,
It was fine. I think it wasn't for me. Like, I'm not sitting there like, oh my god, who's gonna be the next Pope? I'm so excited to see it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. My number 2, we're gonna be back on my cinephile horse here for this one. My number 2 is Anora.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I'm dying to see it.
It is so good. I feel like about 2 or 3 years ago, this is a movie I would not have seen because it's not something that I would gravitate towards. Like if I saw it streaming, I wouldn't like want to watch it. But I am a different person and thought that this was incredible. Mikey Madison, like her performance in that is one of the best of the year. The best performance of the year in my book goes to Yuri Borisov in this movie for supporting actor. He was absolutely incredible. The whole movie is incredible. It is not what I expected at all. There is like a 20-minute home invasion scene, which is like the best scene all year. It's so good. I feel like I've said this about every movie, but the ending, you would not expect to cry while watching Anora, but you do. And it's just so good. And Mikey Madison and Sean Baker work so well together. You can tell. Sean Baker is incredible. This movie was incredible. It was just really, really, really good. And I
That's awesome.
was hoping like it was gonna win Best Picture, and I hope it does, but I don't know anymore. It's a weird year.
Yeah.
But it should win Best Picture. It's great.
I'm hoping there's a lot of nominations tomorrow morning. Yuri Borisov, Mikey,
Yeah.
Sean Baker, screenplay maybe.
Mhm.
We'll see. Yeah, it is a weird year. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that one. Another one I haven't seen yet. What about you, Chad? Is that your number 2 secretly, or you got something else?
That's not my number 2, but I do think probably the Oscar winner for Best Picture this year will be Emily in Paris. If I really had to,
Yeah, Emily in
Really?
Paris is doing
Absolutely.
great.
Right.
yeah, I think that's what's going. Now, my number 2 film is Disney's Pixar's Inside Out 2.
Ooh.
Fuck yeah, okay.
Ooh.
So I'm a fan of the first Inside Out,
Yeah.
a lot, and I like this one even better.
Wow.
I just think both the movies, Inside Out movies, are so clever, and they're so smart. Like I love the concept. I know it's not like an original concept to Inside Out. Like I remember Herman's Head and even things before that and stuff like that. So but they just do it so well. And this one, where they bring in anxiety as one of the emotions,
Brilliantly
It's
portrayed
perfect.
by Maya Hawke, though.
Yes.
Like, absolutely.
perfect. And it's especially perfect like now where I feel like, more so than ever, just people have anxiety. Like, and it is so perfect. Even, young kids have anxiety. It's all over the place. So it is so well done the way they portray anxiety in this movie.
Mhm.
And I love it. I loved it so much. I love it. Yep.
Yeah, I agree, because I think too, like the original Inside Out is so brilliant, and Disney has always been such a wonderful place to teach kids about nuanced concepts through really great storytelling. And I think this is just an escalation of that. Like, yeah, we always talk about our base emotions of happiness, sadness, anger, et cetera, but now to get into more of that grayish area and how it affects us as we get older, and what it means to be embarrassed, what it means to be jealous, what it means to all of these things. Disney's doing the Lord's work, to sort of paraphrase what Kevin Smith would say about it. And I really loved Inside Out 2. I didn't love it enough where it's my number 2, but it is a really great choice. My number 2 is The Substance.
I'm dying to see that. I really need to go to the movies more.
It is the most stylized movie I have seen in a long time. Visually stunning, brave, fearless performances by Demi Moore, and I can't think of the actress's name.
Margaret Qualley.
Margaret
Qualley.
Qualley. Oh my
We're
god.
pronouncing everybody's wrong names
It's
wrong.
Qualley.
Whatever I said. Whatever.
That's
And
fine.
Andy
Margaret
McDowell's
Qualley.
daughter is great in this movie. Demi Moore and the younger version of her are perfect in this. Dennis Quaid is fucking great in this movie. Everybody is phenomenal in this movie. And it is both fable-like in the way it's told and takes Cronenberg to a whole other level. If you ever wanted the feminine gaze version of body horror, this is it. And Jesus Christ, is it uncomfortable. Not only does it make nudity both a beautiful thing, both a sexual thing, a natural thing, but also a disgusting thing. It also weaponizes it against you, like all of that stuff. And it just does it masterfully while making a comment about how we perceive other based on physical looks and our own desire to be a better version of ourselves, and how that's sort of rooted in our heads. Just, I can't praise this movie enough. It is an experience watching it, and Jesus Christ, wow. Don't eat food while you watch it. Just don't
No.
do that.
No.
No.
Well, you didn't mention this, but I thought also the music was awesome.
Brilliant.
Yes.
But there's a lot of stuff I didn't mention. I didn't mention that
Yeah.
her eyeball, like, she throws up one of her own breasts, Chad. I'm not going to mention everything about this movie.
She does too.
I kind of know you though, and I'm really shocked that you did not say that Margaret Qualley. This is the hottest Margaret Qualley's ever looked.
She does look fucking
Jesus
hot.
Christ.
Don't get
She
me
does,
wrong.
yeah.
She looks
Mhm.
really fucking hot. And Demi Moore looks really fucking hot. And then there's a section in the movie where she's supposed to be like turning like terrible. And even then I'm like, you're still hot. You still look like a good Glenn Close. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's sort of rough. But love this movie. Love this movie.
I'm telling you right now, I would mess up those directions so fast.
Yeah,
It-
me too.
It's too complicated for me.
After step 2, forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Exactly.
Rob hasn't seen the movie, so he doesn't know what but basically, in
Oh.
order to change to a younger version of yourself, you get this like insulin pack that has like 97 different steps to it, and you have to follow. But it's helpful because they're all written in big letters, and every time
Yeah.
you open a box, it goes bah! So like it helps out a lot. But it is complicated. Ugh. It is complicated. Plus, Rob already looks like his other version of himself is abusing his spinal fluid. So
God.
I need some of that substance.
yeah,
You'll get that reference later. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
It's
What
better
about-
if you don't know actually what he's saying. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I just want to be a blank slate as I go into this.
Yeah, that's probably for
That's
the
the
best.
best way to be. It's really, really good. It just missed my top 5. And as someone who did it, like, because I get part of the point is Demi Moore is kind of an actress who doesn't get a lot of roles anymore, so they kind of leaned into that. As someone who didn't really grow up with Demi Moore, I thought she played that really, really well. It was
Yeah.
like the first, I think this was the second role I've ever seen her do, and it was incredible. She was great in that movie.
You don't watch a lot of G.I. Jane or Striptease? That's crazy. That's
I
crazy.
know. You'd think I'd check out Striptease
All the
sometime.
time. Absolutely.
Right.
But those are like the only 2 movies that come to my mind when I think of Demi Moore.
Charlie's Angels,
Charlie's Angels. Yeah, that's the one.
Indecent Proposal.
Never
Yeah.
seen that one. That's before my time
So that-
too.
How about wasn't she nominated for the one with Patrick Swayze? I just went brain dead.
Ghost.
Ghost. Yeah,
Ghost.
Ghost is
That's the
classic.
big boy.
That's
That's
the
the
big
big
one.
boy.
That's the
Yeah.
big one. Yeah.
Huh.
But it is like a metacommentative sort of thing, definitely, of an aging star that is
Yeah.
still undeniably beautiful. And you have this
Yes.
like this Groundhog Day moment where somebody she knows comes up to her and it's like still, well, you're the prettiest girl in school, blah blah blah, sort of moment
Yeah.
that's very sweet, and then sort of gets turned into a dark thing. It's a great fucking movie, but I'm sure so is whatever bullshit you're gonna say, Rob. What did you watch? Apple TV Plus presents 5 Days in the Life of Archie Bunker or something. What did you watch? What's your number 2?
That would be awesome. I would drop you right now to go watch 5 Days in the Life of Archie Bunker.
Childhood heroes, Rob Prago.
Number 2 on my list is the best working filmmaker today, Denis Villeneuve, Dune Part 2.
Oh shit. Okay.
It was fantastic. It's just watching. I had to watch it a couple times because the first time I watched it, I'm like, how does he make this? How everything looks seamless. Everything down to everybody's doing the best job. He demands perfection. He must just be the greatest communicator or the biggest asshole that they fear him, but he's genius in his visuals, and the actors all give great performances and everything seems seamless. And you do get to see Timothée Chalamet change from Dune 1 to Dune 2, and it's subtle, but it is a palpable, I'm a kid, I'm sort of a man. And it's really interesting that you go, wow, it's you buy it, because you wonder, like, you watch Dune 1, you're like, is he gonna be able to make this change? And he does, and Rebecca Ferguson is just a badass.
Absolutely.
And it's look, and what's his name? Elvis did
Austin
Austin Butler.
yeah.
Elvis Butler
Yeah.
as,
Elvis Butler was great.
was creepy. It looks spectacular. And again, yes, can't wait for the next one.
I love any movie that makes Drax scared of Elvis.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's how intimidating he was. I also
Yeah.
like the fact that, tons of movies, almost every action movie has the Messiah complex aspect to it. But so rarely do you get that tinged with bitterness. And that's sort of what you get from Paul Atreides, like that idea of he's still upset with his mother for putting him into this place to begin with, and there's that sort of weight of it and anger about it, but also commitment to it and power for it. It's just a complicated place for a character to occupy. I'm sure Rob would describe it with a couple of verbs or something, but I think that's it's just a fun little piece. But that takes us our number ones. So Maggie,
Mm.
as an educated, learned woman in this
Yes.
world,
Yes.
what is your number one movie of 2024?
All right. So out of the 56 new movies I saw last year,
Robin
there
Williams.
was there was one movie I gave 5 stars, and there's one movie that I think is perfect, and that was I Saw the TV Glow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to point out, first of all, I introduced my dad to this movie. Okay, the reason it's on this list is because of me. I want to point that out.
It's not true.
Okay, shut up. I don't care. It is. So I've seen this movie like 4 times now, 3 times, maybe something like that. Every time I notice something different, and that
Yeah.
makes it better. Every time there's a new detail that is like, I don't. Are we allowed to spoil things on this pod? I never watch it.
That's
I don't have
neither
time.
do I. It's fine. Yeah.
Do we spoil? Are we allowed to spoil?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Unless Rob says, "Wait a minute, I'm halfway done with it."
Oh, have you
I
seen
don't
like
know where
5 minutes?
I've seen where am I at right now?
He called
I
me
haven't
Kevin
watched as much
5
as I
minutes
said,
ago.
but I think
You're fine.
his mom somebody just came to pick him up from the sleepover, which wasn't a sleepover.
He's 2 minutes into the movie.
He's not even like an adult yet. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm watching like he just turned into adult. It literally just it cut to where he's what's his name? That's where I saw.
God.
Cut to where he's what's his
Oh
name.
my
The actor
god.
did
Pokemon Detective Pokemon.
That's
what he is right now.
Detective Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon guy. And I was like, nah, I'll watch another time. That's right.
Every time I watch that movie, spoiler alert, okay,
Cover your ears, Rob.
cover your ears. Every time I watch that movie, I notice a new detail that, like the big twist that it leads to kind of in the middle, there is a new detail. I'm like, oh, that should have been a clue. That should have been a clue. And when I watched it for the fourth time, I'm like, this is so obvious.
Yeah.
But it's not. And I try to keep it vague for you, Rob. You're welcome.
Appreciate it, babe. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And I think it is a flawless movie. It is perfect. The soundtrack is absolutely
Gorgeous.
incredible.
Stunning. Yep.
I am always down for a movie that means something else, that is a metaphor or an allegory for something else. This handles the trans experience so well. That way of like, because I'm usually not a fan of first person, or like not for breaking the fourth wall is what I meant to say. Usually not a fan of that. It works so well in this case when he's telling us what happened, but he's hiding certain details because it makes him feel different. And the way he tells us this story isn't the actual story. And like his friend trying to lead him to the correct path and him denying it, and it just being a beautiful metaphor, a haunting metaphor for the trans experience. And the ending is jarring. It is horrifying.
Soul crushing. Like
Soul crushing. And it's so good when he comes out of the bathroom and he says, I'm sorry, over and over.
I'm sorry.
And
Yeah.
over. Oh my God. It's so good. And I did grow up watching Buffy, and it feels very much like that. It feels like that 90s TV show aspect, and it's so good. It's a beautiful, beautiful movie, and the only movie I gave 5 stars this year. It's the only perfect film of 2024, I think.
All I know
mean-
is it's mortifying when I got to come out of a bathroom and apologize.
That's true. That's a true statement.
Sorry, my bad.
Yes.
Yeah, like when we used to work together at EBS, and you ran into the bathroom to take a shit, and you realized you were in the women's bathroom.
I remember I literally looked over and I was like, what kind of fucked up shoes is that guy wearing? I remember thinking that. And then I went, oh, I think I'm wearing the fucked up shoes in this bathroom. Okie dokie.
I think horrible horror stories about Rob defecating aside, I do agree with you. Like, I think it is one of the, like, to me, the film not only occupies the space of like nostalgia about entertainment, but also in horror as of recent, in horror stories, there's a lot of move towards like analog horror or liminal spaces. And this feels like that in a way that I've never seen a film feel that way before. And the extent that I don't even classify I Saw the TV Glow as a horror film.
Right.
But it's more existential dread of not fulfilling your own identity. You know what I mean? And that's horrific. But everything else it's like a sad poem. Like, that's just the way I view the movie. And it's beautiful in that regard. So
yeah, the only time I felt it was like a horror movie in the way that we define the genre is the way Mr. Melancholy looked scared the shit out of me.
yeah, but that feels
hated
like
that fucker.
that feels like Nickelodeon in the,
Yeah.
in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like,
Are You Afraid of the
Pete and
Dark?
Pete.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or Pete and Pete. Like, that's what that felt like to me. Great choice. Chad, what about you? Do you have as good of a choice as her, or are you worthless to me?
Well, my choice is better because, Maggie's very deep thought. Her choice. Mine is Deadpool Wolverine. course it's
Absolutely. Your
Wolverine.
choice is much better. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
What show is this?
Yeah.
It's Deadpool Wolverine, guys. That's the number one movie of the year.
Yeah.
It's like Maggie said, though, this is my only 5-star movie of the year. I love Deadpool Wolverine. there's so many good things. We could talk about it for hours, but before the movie, before I went and watched it, Rob and I were talking, and we were talking about how like people are saying like, oh, there's so many jaw dropping moments of things that happen, and we're like, nothing's gonna make my jaw drop. Like if literally if Chris Evans shows up as Human Torch, my jaw's not going to drop because I'm already thinking that's going to happen. I'm thinking of all these things that are could happen. My jaw's not going to drop. This is when my jaw dropped. Is
Oh, yeah.
the fight at the end when Wolverine pulls the cowl
Yeah.
on, my jaw drop. So what made my jaw drop was him looking like Wolverine in the comics.
But
It
what
was unbelievable.
what
That
a
moment
perfect
was
moment, too.
incredible.
The music score, and it feels like home. And like, oh, yes, it fucking does. Like,
it was perfect.
Maggie, cover your ears for 1 second. I just sexual orgasm in my pants everywhere, just jizz in
As
the
opposed
theater.
to a non-sexual orgasm.
Look, sometimes I have weird days, Maggie. Don't judge me.
Yeah, it's an incredible film. I love it. What Maggie said about adding all the Fox universe, closing that chapter to all of that, coming into the MCU, the chemistry of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. That from the moment when the movie starts and it is the NSYNC song, I'm just dying laughing the
Yeah.
entire time. It's so good and it's got heart. Hugh Jackman is perfect. And he's an amazing actor. And like Rob said, Oscar for what he does as Wolverine. The problem is he's just Wolverine.
Yeah.
But his performance is Oscar worthy. It's amazing.
Yeah. I'm gonna echo that. My number one movie of the year is Deadpool and Wolverine. Look, again, it's something I enjoyed. I think last year I gave it to Turtles Mutant Mayhem because again, it was the most joy I had in a theater. And that's the same here. I'm not gonna say it's the only movie I gave 5 stars to because I'm not fucking stingy assholes like you guys.
Oh, I'm a stingy asshole.
I give 5 stars to everything. Oh, you guys
We
showed up. Good work.
know.
Good work, everybody.
I barely saw 5 movies, much less 5 stars. Hold on.
So, but I agree. Like, there are moments in this movie that were just what I've always wanted to see, and it's right there. And the chemistry of them playing off of each other. Oh, it was just so exciting. I still almost daily quote, I'm sorry, who was your dialect coach? The Minions? Like, that's just one of my favorite fucking lines ever.
Hit me again. It's been a while since I've seen Sling Blade.
Yeah, or you calling your wife HR? Does your wife work in HR? There's just so many of them that like are just ingrained into me that I'm so happy about that exist. I love Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I hope he plays him for the rest of his life. I love Hugh Jackman
Till
as
you're
Wolverine.
90.
Till you're 90. Yep. I loved it. I loved everything about it. Rob, what you got?
I hate to ruin this flow, but my number one movie of the year is Wolverine and Deadpool.
Which is a different version. He actually saw the
Yeah.
Hebrew version that goes backwards.
With that performance, I think he get literally from the. I was giddy with the anticipation in the theater, and as the movie started, I could only equate it to what must feel like a morphine drip that is constantly feeding you morphine, because this movie did not let up. There was not 1 second where I'm like, where it literally was just fun after fun after funny after fun after shock after fun, and until the end I was exhausted and I still wanted more. I literally, it stays on Disney Plus right there. It's always queued up, and I just hit play wherever it is fine, and it just cracks me up above the background noise. It's awesome. It's awesome. There should be a Deadpool movie every year.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah, I work at a movie theater close to where I live, and this was the busiest it's been since I started working here about 3 years ago. There were people, like, our biggest theater has about 300 seats. We almost sold out of like 3 of them. There was like 260 per theater. Like, it was an event, and I love that so much about this movie. Like, it brought people in. It was great. Loved it.
Yeah. Just a fun time. And I also think there is something to be said about it being the only Marvel film release of the year. Like, that it felt like a desert, but what a great oasis to give us. You know what I mean? Just a blast all around.
Looks like they're fast tracking Sean Levy's movie that just got greenlit. He's in negotiations with Ryan Gosling right now to star in his Star Wars movie.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
And there's rumors that he's going to be playing Ken Obi. No, who's with me? People.
How long did you have that in your head and then
Been
think it would
sitting on it.
work?
Not like a
Weeks.
hemorrhoid cushion.
The best was anybody? No.
I like the idea that he has like chalkboards at his house where he's been writing it down. He's like, what other characters? Drive Obi.
So,
No,
it's
that's
that
like-
it's that meme of Charlie Day from
Yeah.
It's Always Sunny.
Fallout
It's
Guy
like-
Obi. Not that one.
Exactly.
Not that one.
And
I also think he turned his microphone off.
Exactly. He's so mad he muted it.
What?
you're like screaming on the top of my screen. I didn't hear a word of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you've done, Rob, but it's not working.
About now.
Now it's working fine.
There we
No, you fucked it up, man. It's not working again. No, I'm not. I can't. We really can't hear you.
You sitting there not talking also isn't going to help us hear what you're saying. It's-
No, I can't hear you.
Yeah, we get that.
Heard that. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Yes.
Say something now.
I'm saying something.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
This is great
Ken
for this
Obi.
audio medium that we have.
Exactly. Definitely
I'm
cut all
just-
this out, Keith.
I'm just Ken Obi. Thank you.
Terrible,
Yeah.
terrible,
There we
terrible,
go.
terrible.
All good
I even
times.
saw him look down at his notes when he said that. He was like, Ken.
Cover your
Obi.
eyes. I mean, spontaneity.
He couldn't remember the last part. It's Ken something.
Well, he has a complicated relationship with Star Wars. I think but before we head out for this outro for the show and everything like that, we do want to say that there have been a couple of losses that we want to at least acknowledge. Some of them in the film world and some of them not. We want to, extend our hearts out to the family and friends and fans of David Lynch. Undeniably one of the most significant filmmakers in the history of the medium. Things can be called Lynchian. Do you know how influential you have to be to have an entire descriptor named after you? So just a tragic loss for everyone who appreciates art. In addition to that, we also lost an American icon, Jimmy Carter. I saw, and regardless of what you believe about this person who I'm quoting, but Dave Chappelle was recently telling a story about how he was in the Middle East and he couldn't tell whether or not Jimmy Carter was a good man, but Jimmy Carter came to Israel and wanted to march along the Palestinian lines and camps. And the Israeli government told him, we can't protect you. We won't send any bodyguards with you. And he said, I'm going to do it anyway. And so Jimmy Carter walked alone throughout the Palestinian camps. And he's like, I can't attest to him being a good president, but I can tell you he was a great man if he was willing to do that. And I think that's a good sentiment, especially for us in Georgia. This man has touched almost every corner of the state, much less the country, in his humanitarian efforts, his giving heart, and all of that. So our hearts to his family and to everyone who mourns his loss. In addition to that, just to the people out in Los Angeles dealing with these insane fires that are still ravaging that part of the country. It is without a doubt the most financially exhaustive tragedy and devastation the country has ever faced, and thousands upon thousands of people displaced from their homes. Monuments of American history lost forever, much less the history of the industry that we find ourselves talking about week after week, or in this podcast, every once in a year. But it's sad, all the relics of Hollywood, the relics of history and of American life that are now gone. So our hearts to the people in Los Angeles that are dealing with that. Anything else anybody wants to say about any of that stuff before we go on?
Nailed it, Keith.
Cool. So then in the meantime, Maggie, where can the people find you? Do you want the people to find you?
I'll plug in my letterbox if I can remember my account.
Yeah.
You can find me. It is just my name, all lowercase, and my icon is Coraline because that's my favorite movie of all time. So
Rock on.
You can find me there. I post all the time obnoxiously, so you can check me out there.
Awesome. And Chad, where can the people find you?
They can find the podcast on Twitter X NQC Podcast.
Awesome. And Rob, where can the people find you?
Twitter at Rob Pralgo.
Great.
X
That was
at Rob Pralgo. Twitter. Go back in time. Go to Twitter and find me there.
well with Twitter. It definitely feels like we're going back in time. And if you're looking for me, don't. Thank you so much, everybody. Talk to you later.
Peace.
Not Quite Cool is a podcast recorded in Atlanta, Georgia, in conjunction with Actors Teaching Actors and Bean Dip Productions. Thanks.